The lights dim, the audience hushes, and the stage is set for what was supposed to be another star-studded night on Jimmy Kimmel Live. But tonight, the air crackles with tension no one saw coming. Keanu Reeves, Hollywood's beloved everyman, steps onto the stage to promote his latest blockbuster. What begins as a routine interview spirals into a fiery confrontation that leaves Jaws on the floor and the internet ablaze. This is no scripted drama. This is raw, unfiltered, and explosive. Welcome to the night Keanu Reeves was kicked off Jimmy Kimmel's show. The camera pans to Jimmy Kimmel, leaning back in his chair, his signature grin plastered across his face. The crowd roars as Keanu strides out, all leather jacket and quiet charisma. He waves, his eyes scanning the audience, and settles into the guest chair. The energy feels electric, but there's a subtle edge, like a storm brewing just out of sight. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Keanu, my man, you're back." The internet's favorite human. The guy who makes us all feel like we're not doing enough with our lives. "How's it going?" Keanu Reeves said, "It's good, Jimmy. Always a vibe here. But I'm just trying to keep up with the world spinning so fast." The crowd chuckles, but Keanu's tone carries a weight that doesn't quite match the lighthearted banter. Jimmy, ever the showman, leans forward, sensing an opportunity to dig deeper. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Spinning fast, huh? You're out here saving puppies, giving up your subway seat, and starring in movies that blow our minds. What's got the world spinning for you right now?" Keanu's eyes narrow slightly, his fingers tapping the armrest. The audience senses a shift, a flicker of something real beneath the Hollywood polish. Keanu Reeves said, "Honestly, Jimmy, I'm a little tired of the noise. The way people twist things, make up stories, chase clout. It's like everyone's forgotten how to just be human." The crowd murmurs, caught off guard by the intensity. Jimmy raises an eyebrow, his grin faltering for a split second before he recovers. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Whoa, Keanu, you're going deep on us already. But come on, you're Keanu Reeves. You're above the noise, right? You're like the Zen master of Hollywood." Keanu leans forward, his voice low but firm, each word deliberate. Keanu Reeves said, "Nobody's above it, Jimmy. Not when the machine keeps churning. You know how it works. Clickbait, hot takes, tearing people down to build someone else up. Even you play that game sometimes." The audience gasps, a ripple of shock spreading through the studio. Jimmy's smile freezes, and for a moment, the polished host looks genuinely rattled. He adjusts his tie, trying to regain control. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Hold up, Keanu. Are you calling me out on my own show? I mean, I'm just here asking questions, try and keep it fun. You're throwing curveballs." Keanu doesn't back down. His gaze locks onto Jimmy, unyielding. Keanu Reeves said, "Fun's great, Jimmy, but when fun means poking at people's lives, spinning narratives for laughs or ratings, it stops being harmless. You've got a platform. What are you doing with it?" The crowd erupts, some cheering, others whispering nervously. This isn't the Keanu they expected, the soft-spoken hero of The Matrix and John Wick. This is Keanu raw, unfiltered, and ready to challenge the system. Jimmy Kimmel said, Okay, let's pump the brakes. I get it. You're passionate. But let's not pretend you're not part of this machine, Keanu. You're out here making multi-million-dollar movies, doing press tours. You're in the game, too." Keanu's jaw tightens and he shifts in his seat, his voice rising just enough to command the room. Keanu Reeves said, "I make movies to tell stories, to connect with people, not to feed some endless cycle of gossip and outrage. You think I don't see how it works? The second I leave this stage, someone's going to clip this, slap a headline on it. Keanu loses it, and it's all clicks from there. That's not why I'm here." Jimmy leans back, his tone sharpening as he senses the audience hanging on every word. Jimmy Kimmel said, "So, what are you here for, Keanu? To lecture me? To lecture them?" He gestures to the audience. "Because it sounds like you're saying we're all doing it wrong. Enlighten us, then." The crowd buzzes, torn between excitement and unease. Keanu takes a deep breath, his eyes scanning the room before locking back on Jimmy. Keanu Reeves said, "I'm here to talk about what matters. Our humanity, the things we're losing in all this noise. But you keep steering it back to the shallow stuff, Jimmy. Why? Because it's easier. Because it sells. Jimmy's face flushes, and he tosses his note cards onto the desk, abandoning the script entirely. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Oh, come on, Keanu. Don't act like you're above selling. You're promoting a movie right now. You think I don't know how this works? You come on, charm the crowd, plug your project, and we all go home happy. That's the deal." Keanu shakes his head, a flicker of frustration crossing his face. Keanu Reeves said, "That's your deal, Jimmy. I'm not here to play that game. You want to talk about my movie? Fine. It's about loss, redemption, fighting for something bigger than yourself. But you don't want that. You want sound bites, zingers, something to trend on X tomorrow." The audience roars, some clapping, others shouting encouragement. Jimmy, visibly rattled, tries to pivot, but the momentum is slipping. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Okay, Mr. High and Mighty, let's talk about your movie, then. Redemption's Blade, big action flick, explosions, the whole deal. You're out here preaching about humanity, but isn't this just another popcorn blockbuster?" Keanu's eyes flash, and he leans forward, his voice steady but intense. Keanu Reeves said, "It's not just anything, Jimmy. It's a story about a man who's lost everything, who's fighting to find meaning in a world that keeps taking. You think that's just popcorn? That's life. That's what people are going through every day. But you'd rather joke about my motorcycle collection than talk about something real." The crowd erupts again, and Jimmy's composure cracks. He runs a hand through his hair, his voice tinged with defensiveness. Jimmy Kimmel said, "You know what, Keanu? Maybe I'd want to keep it light, because that's what people want after a long day. They don't need a philosophy lesson from John Wick. They want to laugh to escape. You're making this harder than it needs to be." Keanu doesn't flinch. His voice softens, but it's no less piercing. Keanu Reeves said, "Escape's fine, Jimmy, but when all we do is escape, we forget how to face what's real. You got millions of people watching you every night. You could spark something, challenge them, make them think. Instead, you're feeding them fluff. Why?" Jimmy slams his hand on the desk, his frustration boiling over. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Because it's my job, Keanu. I'm not a preacher or a poet. I'm a comedian, a host. I give people what they want. You don't get to come on my show and tell me I'm doing it wrong. You don't like it? There's the door." The audience gasps, the tension now a living thing in the room. Keanu pauses, his eyes searching Jimmy's face as if weighing whether to walk away or push harder. Keanu Reeves said, "You think I'm attacking you, Jimmy? I'm not. I'm asking you to do better, to be better. Because you can. I've seen it. Those times you've spoken up, taken a stand, people listen. Why not do that more? Why not use this stage for something that lasts?" Jimmy's eyes narrow, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Jimmy Kimmel said, "Oh, great. Keanu Reeves, the moral compass of late-night TV. You're out here acting like you cracked the code to saving the world. Newsflash, buddy. You're still cashing checks from the same system you're railing against." Keanu's face hardens, but his voice remains calm, almost hauntingly so. Keanu Reeves said, "I'm not perfect, Jimmy. I'm part of it. Yeah, but I'm trying to do something with it. To make things that matter. To lift people up. What are you doing? Making memes? Chasing laughs? Is that enough for you?" The crowd is on its feet now. Some cheering for Keanu, others shouting Jimmy's name. The studio feels like a powder keg. Jimmy stands, pointing a finger at Keanu. Jimmy Kimmel said, "You know what, Keanu? I've had enough. You want to play savior? Do it somewhere else. This is my show, and I'm not here to be your soapbox. Get out." The audience erupts in a mix of boos and cheers. Keanu rises slowly, his expression unreadable. He looks out at the crowd, then back at Jimmy. Keanu Reeves said, "I didn't come here to fight, Jimmy. I came to talk. But if you can't handle that, maybe you're the one who needs to think about why." With that, Keanu turns and walks off the stage, the crowd roaring as the cameras follow his exit. Jimmy stands frozen, his face a mix of anger and disbelief. The screen cuts to black, but the story is far from over. The fallout is immediate. Clips of the Confrontation Flood X with hashtags like Keanu's Kimmel and Jimmy Kicked Keanu trending worldwide. Pundits dissect every word, some praising Keanu's raw honesty, others calling it a publicity stunt. Late-night rivals weigh in, with Stephen Colbert joking, "I'd let Keanu lecture me any day, just not during my monologue." Fans flood Keanu's X account with support, while others mock Jimmy for losing control. But the real story isn't the viral clips or the memes. It's the question Keanu left hanging in the air. What are we doing with the platforms we have? For one night on a stage meant for laughs, Keanu Reeves turned the mirror on us all. And whether you're Team Keanu or Team Jimmy, one thing's clear. Nobody's forgetting this showdown anytime soon.